Mailbag time here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. with you. Use hashtag NBA or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Big Aristotle, do you think the Celtics are regretting not trading for a big man? Embiid killed us the other night.
Is that Shaq paying a compliment to Joel Embiid right there?
Maybe. Look, Chase and I tried to tell y'all this team needed a big, and every time they go up against an elite one, they just get posterized inside, and it happened again the other night.
Here's the thing, Big Aristotle. There aren't many centers in the league who can guard Joel Embiid.
No.
So I wanted the Celtics to trade for Nikola Vucevic. I thought he would have been the best roster upgrade in terms of the player and the fit with the Boston Celtics. But Vooch ain't guarding Joel Embiid in the post. He would get
But he can at
bodied.
least give you some scoring at the big position, which Boston severely lacks.
Yeah, but Daniel Tice wasn't guarding Embiid.
Nope.
Maybe Tristan Thompson can at least lock him down a little bit. He's had Andre Drummond's number, who the Celtics
I'll
did
cut
go
you off
after on the
there.
buyout market.
No, we can't.
Yeah, nobody can really guard Joel Embiid. That's the
chance.
problem.
Should Boston have traded for a big? Type Y for yes, type N for no, and tell us why your answer is yes. So go ahead, get your votes in on that one. I definitely think they should have. Now, Celtics fans, you should download the Newsbreak app at chatsports.com/CelticsNB because wherever you are, maybe you're in Boston, maybe you live on the West Coast and you're a Celtics fan, here's what the Newsbreak app does. It gets you local news, weather, politics, pop culture. Chase, anything happening in your community. We're in Dallas. I use this app every day. I pop it on, see what's happening in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I can keep up with everything happening in our communities. It's a great app.
It's become a part of my daily process. I wake up in the morning, I get some coffee, I get some breakfast, but as I start to do some research to get ready for work, I also pull up the Newsbreak app because I'm able to just kind of stay on top of everything that's going on. Weather, crime, politics, entertainment, pop culture.
They do have more sports stuff
food
as well.
And sports stuff as well. And the other bonus, in addition to getting all of that content on one single feed, hey, Celtics Today is also on the Newsbreak app as well. We're trying to get to 100 followers. So if you go to chatsports.com/CelticsNB, download the Newsbreak app on your iPhone or Android. You get all those features on the app, but also you get all your Celtics news as well.
Search Celtics Today once you download the app, and you can find more videos from Chase, myself, Tom, and everyone here at the Chat Sports team. Supreme Lord 305, what will the Celtics do in free agency? I think you look at shopping Kemba Walker.
That's what I would try to do.
What can you get someone to take Kemba's contract, free up that $28-30 million, and then go get either two $15 to $18 million guys to get some, maybe you get a big and another guard to replace Kemba, or you go all in on a max guy who could be out there.
Yeah, like I know there were some rumors that Malcolm Brogdon could be on the market. If Kemba Walker was healthy, a Kemba for Brogdon swap, I think, could be good for both parties, but the injury issues are the concern for Kemba and the Celtics.
The Celtics really should have done the sign and trade for Miles Turner. That was a big miss by Danny
He's under control,
Ainge,
too.
So tough one. Jeff Rogers, who should go in Boston? Brad Stevens, Danny Ainge, or both? I'm actually going to say neither. I think, look, this duo has done a good enough job together that this is one of those wonky years, and they've had worse luck than most. Unless this thing just burns out over the final month and a half before the playoffs, I think you see what happens the rest of this year. You run it back. Maybe you get aggressive in free agency, go add a piece. Maybe you trade for a piece, something Ainge just hadn't pulled the trigger on in the past for whatever reason. I think if this is a similar team next year, though, like battling for 6 to 8 seed in the East, I think at that point you really have to look yourselves in the mirror and say, this may not be working anymore, but just one baddish season isn't going to just be like, well, time to get rid of Stevens and Danny Ainge.
Yeah, I'm not hitting the panic button yet, Jeff Rogers, and I'll tell you
Your
this.
two best players are 23.
Exactly. And what's the constant theme of dysfunctional, bad organizations in the NBA? It's no organizational stability. The Celtics have that with Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens. And I think if you can have some semblance of organizational stability, you're going to be in a good spot to make consistent runs to the playoffs and compete for NBA championships. We're talking about one bad year here. We're also talking about a lot of different factors that have factored in to the Celtics' struggles this year. It's one bad year. But if it does linger into next year, and they're sitting at this point 500 next season, then
different conversation.
I would sound the alarms.
Jackson Fulton outside of Cade, both Jalen's, Jonathan, and Mobley. Who you got? I'd probably go Suggs just because I think guard-wing combos are better than bigs in today's NBA, and they're more of them hit than bigs do, but Mobley's a fun player.
Yeah, so is he saying outside of Cade Cunningham and Jalen Suggs and Jalen Green
right.
and Mobley? Saying. Oh, wow.
How about Davion Mitchell? He might be the safest player in the draft.
Like, I am so high on Davion Mitchell, and if I was running an NBA franchise and I had some solid pieces at, like, number 5, I would think about taking him that high.
I don't think he can be a superstar, but I think his floor is like an energy guy off the bench. Well, you know what I mean? Where he's at least going to be a rotation player.
Like, a lot of people compare his game, and it does look like Donovan Mitchell's. If you go back to Donovan Mitchell's career at Louisville, he wasn't a 25-point-per-game night.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ripped his efficiency. Davion Mitchell, he's not a 25-point-per-game guy. I think he averaged around 14, but we're looking at potential here, and man, that dude can defend.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Who should win MVP? Predict it for us. It's a deep candidate pool this year. Jokic, Embiid, Steph, LeBron. Probably not LeBron because he's hurt, but James Harden, we've been talking about in the office, is a guy who's been red hot the last 2 months. You going Jokic?
I think it's the Joker. I think you take him away from the Nuggets, and this is how I measure MVP. How would that team be if you took that respective player out of the lineup?
That's not a playoff team, I don't think.
The Nuggets would stink.
No. Yeah, I agree with you. JAE, do you think the Celtics shouldn't have traded and waited for a better player in the off season? What do you mean? Instead of Fournier?
Look, I mean, Fournier's on an expiring deal. So
they gave up 2 seconds.
Yeah, if you want to let him walk, you can do so without any repercussions.
2 seconds isn't something that's going to set you back as a franchise.
No.
It's just not. So I thought it was a great value signing and a good, hey, if you ball out for 2 to 3 months, we'll probably re-sign you. If not, we gave it a try, it didn't work out, and we lost 2 G League players. So that's pretty much how that goes. So, the next couple of months will be interesting when it comes to the Boston Celtics as they try to, there's still opportunity here to move up in the Eastern Conference.
And I think there's no doubt that Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens look at the talent on that roster, and they're like, look, if we can get it together, we can still make a run in the NBA playoffs. So, look, Fournier, they needed to bring a player in like that to fortify their bench, and that was the thought process there.
Corshawn Smith, if the Warriors drafted LaMelo Ball, they wouldn't have been in this situation, I'm guessing, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's fair. Look, I thought LaMelo was a fun prospect. No one thought he was going to be this good right away. I mean, you have ESPN releasing best potential under the age of 25, and he's like number 3 on their list. Did anyone think he would be this electric?
Yeah, well, an absolute crime that they had LaMelo Ball ahead of Devin Booker.
Yes.
That's just a crime right there. I mean, somebody should be arrested for that. But CS, nice initials, because I got the same initials. Yeah, I mean, if the Warriors did draft LaMelo Ball, they would be in a much better spot. But as we know, evaluating these prospects, it can be impossible. It's an exact science.
And it's not like Wiseman sucks.
No,
like, he's been
gonna
good.
Be good.
He's improving. LaMelo, I believe,
10 in the first half against the Bucks.
LaMelo will be better, but I think Wiseman's going to be just fine. Ezra Valdez, what do you think of Kai Jones and Craig Brown? I like Kai Jones more. Craig Brown just could not get out of his own way this year at Texas. He would always get in foul trouble. Maybe you chalk that up to being a freshman in college. I don't know. I think Kai Jones is a higher energy, more athletic player.
Yeah, and I think he's a higher energy, more athletic player and maybe has much more potential than a guy like JaVale McGee.
Yeah, I like that
you
comp.
can get at the mid to late first round.
Okay. Al Matt, couple more here. Can you explain how the lottery odds work? So they changed it a couple of years ago. The top 3 teams all have the same percentage chance, and by top 3, I mean the worst 3 records in the league, because they've tried to eliminate tanking. So if you have a bottom 3 record, I think it's 15% chance for all 3 of those teams to get the number 1 pick, and it's the ping pong ball thing. They shake them up, all that, and it's progressively worse. Like 4th team has 12%, 15th has 10, or whatever it is. It's a trickle-down effect, but they've tried to eliminate tanking, whereas the worst record doesn't have clearly the best odds. So, tanking doesn't work as much as it used to. Gary Sanderson, pro comp for James Bouknight.
Yeah, James Bouknight out of UConn. James Bouknight, oh man, an NBA comp, I'm not sure, but I will tell you this, like he can pour it up and pour it in as a really elite scorer, maybe a better defender than like a Lou Williams.
Okay.
He kind of reminds me of Lou Williams. Now, Lou Williams is very, very one-sided.
Yeah,
he can only
can't
play
defend.
offense and, goes on trips to get chicken wings and stuff.
Yes.
But James Bouknight, in terms of offensive scoring and offensive ability, reminds me a little bit of Lou Williams.
Okay. Subscribe to us here at Chat Sports. You see the link on screen. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. If you love our mailbags, join us every Friday live because Chase and I are going to be chopping it down for you guys, breaking down all your questions. So subscribe, turn on those notifications. Bunch of NBA coverage leading on to the NBA playoffs. King J, pro comp for Jalen Suggs. He's your guy. What do you think?
So I think that he can affect the game in a variety of ways, like a shorter Ben Simmons, and he can kind of score and has the body type of Brandon Roy, who before he got hurt with the Portland Trailblazers was an all-star and a really legitimate player. So those are the pro comps that I'd make for Jalen Suggs.